Hey everyone, this is Don Miguccioni, back with more quick and accessible health and fitness tips. It's story time today, so we're going to talk more about social distancing and the new reality that we're all in currently in some way, shape, or form. It's March 27th, 2020, as of this taping, and things are quite a bit different. So, what we're going to be talking about is movement and exercise specifically, and how to keep that up and maximize the situation that we're in. A lot of us enjoy going to gyms, enjoy going to public places for exercise and movement, using equipment potentially, using facilities which may not be available. The vast majority are not at this point, regardless of where you are in the US. So, what we're going to talk about is how you can do some effective exercise and movement with no equipment. And first, it's story time. So, we're going to talk a little bit about how body weight, no equipment exercise can be just as challenging, if not more challenging, than using equipment or weights. So, story number one, when I was in high school back in the day, went to camp at Boston College a few times for football. So, high school football camps, basically, you go there, you've got probably 3 or 4 sessions a day on the field and in the weight room, mostly on the field to work on fundamentals and skill development. But we would always have sessions with the strength and conditioning staff, and usually those are your typical, like, get hyped up, get a good workout in, get tired as part of the experience. But the coach, I believe his name is Mike Poitamani, coach. So if you're out there, first of all, thanks for checking this out. Second, if I get a few details off, my apologies. About 20 years at this point. Coach would talk to us really about the fundamentals of strength and conditioning and why it's important and how it factors into being a successful football player, an athlete. And said, honestly, you'd say to all of us, I don't care how much you can squat, I don't care how much you can bench. I care more about how you're doing the movement patterns and how your performance in the weight room is translating to performance on the field. So he said, number one is injury prevention. So you should never get hurt training. And you should also make sure that what you're doing in the weight room is making you more resilient and less injury prone on the field. So that was a shocker to a lot of people. Typical high school football players, all about, like, got to get my squat up, got to get my bench cleans, I got to get those up, thinking about the weight that you're lifting and not necessarily the fundamentals of the movement. So coach went on to illustrate this point, said when he first started, there was a running back named Will Green who ended up playing some professional football. And he was told, here's Will Green, this is your star running back, he squats 600 pounds. Says, okay, cool, let me see you squat the bar. He said, well, coach, I don't squat the bar, that's too light. He says, well, I need to see the way you squat before I'm going to sign off on you loading up 600 pounds. So, long story short, coach said, you're not squatting 600 pounds the way you're squatting right now. So, we need to fix up some of these movement pattern issues, and then we can start building the weight back up so that it's going to translate to performance on the field and not get you injured. So, head football coach apparently called up and said, what are you doing? What happened to my 600-pound squatting running back? He said, coach, if your running back keeps squatting 600 pounds the way he is squatting right now, he will get hurt and you will not have a star running back and you won't win as many games. So sometimes you need to say it in terms that people will understand. And that's really the main philosophy I've heard from strength and conditioning coaches for times that I've been an athlete, times that I've been an intern, really at all levels, is that movement patterns are number one, and you really shouldn't be loading up any weight until you can squat correctly, until you can move correctly, until you address any imbalances, and then you can start putting on some weight, putting on some resistance, and that's going to translate into performance, and that's what everyone really is looking for. So regardless of whether you're an athlete or not, you're training for performance. So you're training to be healthier, you're training to have more energy. Even as an adult now, you're doing it to achieve some sort of a result, and that's important to keep in mind. The other story about body weight being potentially as challenging or more challenging than weights and equipment. My first interview I did on the blog with my dad, Bob Guccioni, we talked about RKC kettlebell certification and the difference between multiple choice paper pencil training exams versus in person where you need to make standards. So one of the RKC exams we just finished up, and I was talking with Pavel, like, I think about that now, like, oh, just casual conversation with Pavel, no big deal. But talking about the pistol. That wasn't something that was part of the exam requirements to do pistol is a single leg squat. So that's for another time. Right, right now we're just doing story time. But at that point, I was working on doing pistols and I was trying drills, and I was thinking to myself fundamentally, okay, I've seen people doing these with a kettlebell, like holding the kettlebell out in front, but really I should be able to do this body weight first, because why would I pick up a weight if I can't do something body weight first? And what Pavel explained, and I was talking about my challenges, first of all, he said, okay, well, take your shoes off, let's do some drills. Like, oh, cool, like get some one-on-one instruction here, no big deal again. So what Pavel explained is that when you're learning how to do a pistol, because it's such a challenging exercise and there's so much balance, mobility, stability, coordination involved in it, it actually makes it easier if you have a light counterbalance weight than if you try to do it with body weight. And that was spot on. He showed me a few drills with a light kettlebell counterbalance, and within 5 minutes, I was doing pistols with the counterbalance kettlebell. So, I mean, unbelievable coaching, absolutely. But that demonstrated to me, like, okay, that's different than what I thought. That I need to work my way up to doing a body weight exercise in this case, as opposed to working my way up to doing something with a weight, even a lightweight. So we're going to get into all kinds of topics here. For as long as we're doing this social distancing thing, we'll talk about body weight strength exercises, ways you can do cardio, mobility and stretching, with minimal to no equipment, or using things around the house which you may not have thought about as equipment, but they need to be right now. We got to work with what we've got. So we will see you soon with some topics, and hope everyone's staying safe out there.